Okay, this is room number 2, the sacrifice. This basically is representative of a time period of, like, I use the Mayan Aztec era because it's a very caste system oriented society. This is the emergence of the group soul. Whereas we had oneness before, where you felt one with everything because you were so connected. You're like a baby first born. You just are connected. You haven't even thought that you might be different from the world. But you haven't developed any way to create society or structure. This is where structure first starts to emerge. You no longer have to follow the herd. You can put a fence around the herd and pluck out what you want to eat one by one. You no longer have to worry about animals coming in or threats from the outside coming in to hurt you or kill you. You can build up walls and defenses and things like that. You start to develop language, the first articulated deities, this is art, architecture, all take great leaps. You also develop bad things, unfortunately, like slavery and the entrapment of people and confinement of people, because remember, we're going from freedom to more constraint, and we're going from spirit to a little more material, so we have a lot more things, like, whereas before you just had a sense of God, it just was, even before you articulated it was just this, well, here now you have an articulated God, which gives it more structure so you can do things like pray and dance and kind of interact with that God. But at the same time, now you've made a leader be your voice of God, so that you are born into this system and he tells you exactly what your life is. You never question going higher, you never question going lower, you just are at your place. That's, in a certain way, why sacrifice was, some people see it as a very brutal thing, but it wasn't really experienced that way at that time. It's just sort of like divinity, we're still on the very upward level, so it's very spiritual still. Like the realms of the afterlife were just like a threshold away, you know what I mean? So your flesh was just a way of just shedding a layer and going back to your ancestors and to what life truly was. The reason you had such a sense is because, like I said, God was telling you every single day how to make the crop, how to ensure a good crop, how to, you know, when to exchange leaders, and those leaders willingly just went to the sacrifice. And it was just kind of a mutual interaction with the divine and the material world, because you're still, the jungle's right outside those walls. You know what I mean? You're not living in the caves and in the depths of the jungle. You built the walls up, but it's still right outside. You know, so that connection to the earth is still out there. Very real, but you now have leaders and structures that keep you in a group soul, to where you are one with everybody, but in a very immature way. Like I said, the left side of our arc is going to be the immature versions of things that we will resolve on the right hand side. So it's immature in the fact that, like, because I haven't even developed the ability to question things on my own and have even an immature ego structure emerge, invaders like Pizarro can come in with, like, you know, tens to hundreds of guys and overthrow hundreds of thousands of people in a very traditional organized city. It's just because once you execute the leader, I've never questioned that I would ever go higher or lower than what I am, and you just basically killed God, so how am I supposed to even resist, you know? And so morality was, or the morale of the group was very intrinsically tied into that connection to the divine. So in a certain way it's very freeing, it's very like, we wish that today we had that sense of divinity, but at the same time it was very limiting, because if that was removed, then you had no sense of life purpose and you couldn't question and kind of evolve out of that. The ability to do that leads to big advancements in our third room, so let's go there.